Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. It's still very early in the morning, and with this being the last Sunday of the month, one thing I always do is I go back and look at my stocks and see how they performed for that month. That's a very important thing to do. Even if they're down, don't get down, especially if you have some extra money to invest in stocks. But it occurred to me, I need to tell Dan's people, what got me into investing and why I'm such a hawk about investing that I am now. So many years ago, Dan was like your average. Remember the time I told you I was a Democrat, union guy, like your average person. Um, the job I was at had plenty of overtime, tons of all the overtime you can handle. So I worked overtime 6 days a week, 16 hours a day, and the money was really, really good. I mean, you're talking a little over $100,000 a year. And so I did the typical thing that uninformed people do. I went and spent that money. I went and bought the newest Cadillac Escalade I could buy, paid cash for it. I brought these out to show you. Usually they sit in my safe. Matter of fact, they haven't been out in years. I put the watch on this morning. Right? You see that? Diamond watch, matching diamond bracelet. And I had forgotten how to, it has a special clasp on it. I had forgotten how to put it on, so I had to relearn how to put it on. Came with the certificate of authenticity. If anybody's thinking I just stopped by the, what do you call those little stores where they sell the fake watches? Whatever they are. Certificate of authenticity, and this is just for the watch alone, was $3,000. The bracelet was more, it has more diamonds, so, which is an odd little thing, but hey. So imagine being able to spend that much money, but something happened, see? The job I used to work at in the mental health field, it's a lot of investigations. People make false accusations all the time. And so what actually happened is I ended up under investigation for a year. Well, during that year, I couldn't work overtime. And at the time, I was really, I took it as, this is pretty bad, you know? Not the actual investigation itself. The investigation itself was bunk. I mean, honestly, it could have been over in a week. But you know how they say everything in your life happens for a reason? This happened for a reason. So I'm sitting, because they'd have you sit in this little office. You just watch YouTube on your phone. So you get those little YouTube commercials. I guess I could have called this the story of how a YouTube commercial changed my life. And so I'm watching a little YouTube commercial in the middle of something else I was watching. And before I could hit skip, before skip came up, I heard Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, say he has no personal income. And I was like, how the hell is that? So then I started researching videos on Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, people like that. Like, what's going on? What's their mentality? But definitely a lot of Warren Buffett videos, a lot of Bill Gates videos. And in another video, I'll tell you the story of why Warren Buffett didn't invest in Microsoft. So I'm watching these videos, and what I'm learning is they have passive income. They have investments. They have stocks. Didn't really know anything about the stock market. And you're there for 8 hours. So I'm watching literally every day for like 2 weeks. I'm watching 8 hours of investment videos. So one day my girlfriend saw me, I come home, and I tell her, it's like, I think I'm going to start investing after this investigation is over, and I got that influx of money again. So she told me about her uncle, who was a very prolific investor, retired in his early 50s, never wanted for money, and come to find out when he passed away, he was a multi-millionaire, right? But he didn't drive a fancy car, didn't wear fancy clothes, didn't go out and buy the biggest house on the block. He's like one of those kind of just laid back undercover multimillionaires. And so a few of the things I learned were invest in something you know. Invest in something you use. So I invested in General Electric, Ford, a little oil company. And I was sitting there, it was August, and I saw this penny stock come up, and it was going for $1.31 a share. So I bought a few shares of that because I figured they did vaccines. And this was August, so I knew flu season was coming. It's like, man, this might get up to $2 or $3. Little did I know, what was that? When I bought this watch, 2017? It's 2020. Little did I know that same stock, Novavax, NVAX on the ticker, that same stock would be trading. Friday it closed out at $113 a share, but I see it's been up to around $140, $150 a share. So from a $1.37 investment, what is that, 100 times your money? So it's just things like that. But that's what got me into it. Because during that investigation, when I'm not making that extra overtime money, I got used to living this lifestyle. Well, they dropped me to this lifestyle. And so after I came out of that, and went back to working overtime, I was determined to work as much overtime as I had been working previously. Only I was going to be smart and invest my money. So I look out the day, and and as you learn more, you tend to advance. At the time, I didn't have a financial advisor. Now I have two. I have a guy from Edward Jones, and I have Paul. God bless his soul, his investment guy that showed him how to invest smarty. So I have those two. I have an accountant. So it's really changed my life. And once you start investing, you learn about passive income. You learn about living below your means. And I'll do a quick video on that. Probably, you know what? I'm just going to turn out like 3-4 financial videos to tell you my own personal story. Word of warning though, I am not an investment advisor. So if you want to ask me about a particular stock, I'll take a look at it. I'll call my boy Charlie. I'll call Marty, see what they think about it, and I'll get back to you. But if you follow my personal advice on investment, you might go broke. So yeah, just take it. Yeah. But if you are going to invest in places like Ford, General Electric, Hormel's another one I have. I didn't get Goya, because after that whole mess with the liberals, it went through the roof, man, through the roof. But that's just my little story of why I started investing. So I would advise each of you, even if you have to take $10, $15. The way you do that is you go through this app called Robinhood, which is originally how I started investing. I used Robinhood. And that's how I picked up my Ford and my General Electric and my Hormel and my Novavax stock. And I picked them up actually through Robinhood. So, and at the end of the year, they'll send you an investment statement. You take it to your accountant. And then those are my play around stocks. And I go through the big guys like Charlie at Edward Jones and my boy Marty. I go through them for my big investments. And actually they'll say, how they always say buy low, sell high? You got to think about why you're investing. Me, I'm investing for retirement. That way there's money there when I retire, or when I think I want to retire, or if something happens, I can go back and there's money I can draw on without having to depend on an income from an employer. So make sure if you're investing, make sure that stock pays a dividend. What a dividend is when the company pays you for your investment. So like Ford pays a 5.5% dividend, which is a very generous dividend. And so they're actually paying you to invest in their company. So always keep that in mind too. But thank you for watching this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. I hope at least it gives you a few more of you thinking about investing, what you want to invest in, how you're going to invest. Because especially a time like now, I know there's a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that are working crazy overtime in the healthcare field and the food service industry. So, don't just toss your money away. Don't go buy that brand new car because it depreciates as soon as you drive off the lot. And invest your money in something that's going to be there long term. Now, how investing is serious when you sign up with a financial advisor and you start buying your stock, they'll have you list your beneficiary. Now, that should key to you is generational wealth. Generational wealth. So, and I'll do a show on generational wealth. So, but thank you for watching this overextended episode of the Dan Dawson Show. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do.